The Pearls of Wisdom virtual online retreat is proudly sponsored by Serenity Radio. Find out more at serenityradio.co.uk.
Hello, welcome to day 2. I hope you enjoyed day 1. In day 1, I spoke a bit about neuroscience, and I spoke a little bit about the biology of our bodies, the reality of what's going on in our brains, in our bodies, when we think. And Helen came on and shared with us her amazing, miraculous story of how she used her mind to heal her body and transform her health completely. That woman is a completely new woman. Today, I'm going to share with you a little bit more about the energy side of things. You know, the universe is an absolutely gigantic hologram. And the idea of a hologram isn't a new one. It was actually formulated in 1947 by a lovely man called Dennis Gaber, who went on to win a Nobel Peace Prize for his work. And I love his idea, because when we look at a hologram, say we look at an image of a hologram of, say, a lady standing in front of us, we'll see a lady, maybe she's smiling. And if we move slightly to the side, we may see a different image. It's still an image of the whole lady. It's still a whole image. But in that image, she may be sad. If we move to this side and look at the hologram from this angle, maybe she's got her hands on her hips and she's doing some kind of a superwoman pose. But whatever we're seeing, we're still seeing a whole image. And if I took that hologram image and dropped it on the floor and smashed it into a million pieces, you wouldn't pick up one of the pieces and see like a bit of an eye or a bit of a shoulder or a bit of an ear. What you'd see in that one small piece would be the entire image, the entire hologram. And when we look at the universe and the nature of the universe, we can see that the universe is holographic too. And of course, we are a reflection of the universe. And when we look at traditional Chinese medicine, we can see that our bodies are a reflection of the world that we live in and a reflection of the universe. So you may have heard of meridian channels, energy channels that run around the body. These are seen as like rivers and streams, different aspects of our body. In Chinese medicine have got beautiful names like the gatekeeper to heaven and mountains and valleys. But what we're seeing is we're seeing a description of how our bodies are a reflection of the world that we live in. And therefore our bodies and our minds are a reflection of the universe as well. And if we go really, 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 really small and we look at neurons and what they actually look like and how they work and how they connect and everything, when we look at that, those neurons, they look like galaxies. They look like supernovas. They look like stellar bursts. They look like planets and stars orbiting around. And the mind and the physical world interact in pretty much the same kind of way. And we know from what I was talking about yesterday that this interaction is really much less of a mystery now. And consciousness is energy. It's energy in its purest and finest and most dynamic form, because we know that it's energy that can transform and change our cells. It's energy that can transform and change our biology. And the events that we imagine, the things that we visualize, the things that we desire, the things that we want, the things that we fear, the things that we hold in our minds, we know that they can be made real. You know, it's all very well saying, oh, yeah, look, and I used to have issues with the law of attraction. I used to say, you know, how come these people who've, you know, educated themselves to be top lawyers, how can they end up having to flee their countries because of war and end up living in refugee camps on their knees crying because they don't have a coat to wear? You know, how does that work? How has that person created that reality? And it's a really tough question that really challenged me. But what I realized was when you look at successful people, people who are doing well, when you look at healthy people, successful people or rich people, they've developed a success consciousness. Rich people have developed a prosperity consciousness. The only thing that is holding us back from being a success, the only thing that's holding us back from healing ourselves are our thoughts. You know, if we want to get more health conscious, if we want to change our health, we need to develop the right type of health consciousness. If we want to be more happy, we need to develop a happy consciousness. And if we want to have prosperity and success, we need to develop prosperity and success consciousness. I've invited Frank Ramsey to come on today to talk to you about his journey and his experience. He really is an incredible energy medicine practitioner, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to invite him to come on and share with you his story, his journey. So I've invited Frank Ramsey to come on today and chat with you a little bit. Welcome to Conversations with the Subconscious, Frank. Thanks for coming on. Frank, Frank and I met at was like a conference weekend on how to launch your business. It was really interesting to meet him, and he's been a guest on my podcast quite a few times, and hopefully a few more, because he's incredibly knowledgeable. But today I wanted to get him on to share about his experience, his healing experience using the power of his mind. I wanted to kind of like get his life story really, and just share with you some realisms, some true stories, some real situations where people have done this, and what I'm talking with you about this weekend. So welcome, Frank. Thanks ever so much. So your background, obviously you're a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, you're a mental well-being or a mental health nurse, and you've traveled the world, you're an author, and you're an incredibly experienced holistic therapist, integrative medical practitioner, but you really went on your own healing journey. Tell us a little bit about where it all started. Where were you just a few years ago with your own health?
Well, if you say where it all started, I'd have to take you back to being when I was 17 years old. I was going into school, and I didn't want to be in school. But I didn't really know what I want, you know, adolescence, what do you want to do? So started to bunk off, and there was one day I was sat on the park bench with my brother, then we were going back into school, and I had a mystical experience, you know, where I just felt like the sky literally opened and something communicated with me, you know? Yeah. It was very profound and terrifying at that time. And that is mysticism, you know. Now, basically, that was 17, and I got through my studies, and I got jobs, and I went to university, but I couldn't shake this thing. I couldn't shake it. And basically, by the time I was, I don't know, I guess in my late 20s or 30s, I had like a mental breakdown, because life to me wasn't, you know, I was just playing at life. I was just playing. I was just doing what a conveyor belt, getting jobs, not really happy. Relationships weren't really working out, because I was denying this experience, this deeper part of me. And now I'm proud, you know, they say about, you talk about coming out of the closet. Well, I am a mystic, you know, and to a lot of people, when I talk to you about it, you know, you're just smiling, that's cool. But it's not a sort of thing.
I
Well,
meet a lot
not,
of mystics. I'm very fortunate. I meet people
yeah,
who've had all sorts of interesting things happen to them, and I've
yeah,
literally witnessed miracles. So when people say, "Do you know what? I feel like I've got some kind of skill, or I can see things, or I can understand things in different ways." Yeah,
yeah.
call
I
it
mean, yeah,
neurodiverse, call
yeah.
it spiritual, call it what you want, but I just
Yeah, I mean,
we
I think
think differently.
yeah, it is. And so, on my own like journey, like I struggle with this. And I thought, I must be mad. I must be, because even my nearest and dearest to say, what the hell, what the hell are you talking about? You're weird. You're weird. You're just weird. And I think, yeah, but I'm feeling these things. I'm feeling energy around me. Just shut up. And they're not that bad, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Some people don't want to
totally.
hear this stuff. It's scary enough. So then you think, well, I must be ill. I must be mental. And that's really what I'm just going to get into a bit, because, what healed me a lot was getting in touch with the right people. That's so important, I think, in your life. When you
Yeah.
have a profound experience, it scatters your chi, if you like, and you're like, what the hell's going on? And I went to university when I was 18 or 19, and I just went for the social aspect. I did a kind of a degree in economics and sociology, but my heart wasn't in it. I just wanted to get away from home and go nuts in a place where nobody knew me, basically. And I had a lot of fun there. But if I was honest, I was acting a lot. That was the great joy for me. Because what happened in adolescence to me, I got depressed first. I felt complete isolation. Then I had that mystical experience which just took me over the edge. So I thought, what the hell's going on? I'm trying to fit in and nobody knows. I'm a freak, right? But I know I'm a freak. So if I go to university, there's lots of other freaks there. And, you have a bit of fun along the way.
University together.
Yeah. And I found, to this day, some of my best friends at that university. They're your formative years. And I got two great friends there. And the thing about these guys, one of them's, I say like a white, how do I describe him? A white guy, sort of well brought up, and he's got a Christian background. He doesn't go to church much, and the other guy is a Sikh, from India originally, London based. But the thing about these guys is they're both spiritual, not overtly, especially the white guy. He doesn't talk much, but he's a Christian. And if the shit hits the fan, he'll come out, he'll quote a few things, but the Sikh guy especially, totally spiritual, totally gets all that, is in touch with India and that spiritual culture where they would just talk about, mysticism, sure, because our prophets went out and were told by God to come back and form the brotherhood to defend themselves against the Muslim uprising. And it's all normal. So I was around these people where I could talk, and I felt real close to them. And as I say, they're still friends to this day. So that was when I was in my 20s. But what happened was that, as I say, my heart wasn't in the actual subjects, but I passed. It was quite hard for me because I knew I had the ability, and I was just doing things that I didn't really want to do, but I didn't know what else to do. So then after that, I graduated, I had a degree, and then I got the first real proper job as an estate agent. Just picked up a paper. And I could have got that.
As an estate agent at all. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But listen, I could have left school at 15 or 16 and become an estate agent. Why did I go to uni and get a degree? Anyway, it's all fun and games. I became an estate agent, and that's when I really had a breakdown. I did a year in the job. I enjoyed it, bits of it, but I thought, I've got so much to be a snob or nothing, but I've got so much more to give than just putting people in flats,
Yeah.
And so I had a breakdown then, and I really questioned everything. And it's like,
let me get to the crunch of it. What was that breakdown in terms of Western medicine and how they would have diagnosed it? What would that breakdown be called?
I guess just depression. Just depression.
A very deep depression.
Yeah, deep depression, isolate, just going, putting all this energy into building a world where I looked like I knew what I was functioning, but behind the mask, nothing meant anything. No. That kind of feeling.
No
and I remember going home.
No purpose.
Yeah, I remember going home and just staring at a wall. Staring at a wall. I've been doing this for 2 or 3 hours. but actually it's quite peaceful. And it's like, I knew that I was not right. And so I had to talk about it. And I got quite a lot of support. And I've always been driven, Amanda, to achieve something in my life. You know, some people are all different, but I'm one of these people that I get up, I need to get something done. And so it's very hard for me not to know what to do. But when I had that breakdown, I started to read quite a lot, and it was a very important time. And my auntie gave me this book called The Celestine Prophecy. I'm sure you've heard of it. And all about energy and stuff, right? You've heard of that book. And then I started to read about alternative medicine and energy, and it's like, this is it. This is who I am. So I remember saying, let's get some hustle behind this muscle. And I took out a couple of loans and went back to university in my mid-20s. So that was a mixed bag, because I was suddenly thrown into this alternative health community, and where I had all these people, great people to talk to. But I had no money. I was living at home with my parents in my mid-20s. And you got other needs, right? I wanted to get married. I wanted to, whatever. But I knew that my career was going to be the most important thing. So I prioritized it. I went to Westminster University and I did complementary medicine as an overall degree. But after a year, it was too wishy-washy. It wasn't going to lead anywhere. So what I said to what we were saying, talking about a bit before, I started to realize all these different therapies are basically from China. It's rehashed with different names. Any body work, McTimoney chiropractor, anything body work, nobody's better than Chinese, right? And they've got an energy system.
There, doesn't it? It's I know that quite a few years ago now, they found an Ice Age man.
Yes.
Stuck in a glacier, and he defrosted a bit, so they had to get him out. And they kept him in the right temperatures so they could preserve him and observe him and check him out. And they noticed he had these weird tattoos all over his body, and they didn't know what they were until an acupuncturist spotted them, and they said, that is an acupuncture treatment for arthritis.
Yeah.
Basically, they must have somehow tattooed the acupressure or the acupuncture points on him that had been used, so that when he travelled, because he was nomadic in his lifestyle, he kind of wandered with his sheep through the mountains. Clearly had a bad day and got stuck in ice, but in a glacier one day. His prescription of acupuncture treatment was on his body. And I remember thinking, wow, the Chinese medicine is not old or traditional. It is old and traditional, but it's incredibly modern as well.
Yes,
and I think that's what's really interesting about
very powerful, that, because if you think about the principles of Chinese medicine, the circles of life, right? So everything comes around again. So there's no old and new really anyway. It's all circles. It's all circles and circles. But, they have an energy system that we do not have in the West. However, we have a great spiritual Christian culture, which is, if you look into it, and I remember my dad used to say this to me when I was studying Chinese medicine, God, about Taoism, and they're so cool. He said, listen, you don't know enough about your own people and your own culture here. We've got a lot of this in the church. We got mysticism, we got energy stuff, we got people being risen from the dead. We got all this stuff. But what happened in the West, we divorced the science with the spirituality.
Well, that's what I love about what's happening right now, because now with the advances in neuroscience, we're really able to see how thoughts work. What's going on a biological level when we think? What's going on a biological level when we're in different environments? What's going on? We've started being able to read what's happening. We've started to be able to have a very deep understanding of cells and brain cells. And there's almost this coming together of spirituality and science. Again, it's maybe coming full circle. And I love that these kind of modern traditional medicines that have been saying these things for years, we need to look at this and understand this. Now it's almost like Western medicine.
Can I stop you for 1 second?
Yeah.
My battery is dying here, and I don't know what to if to plug, but it should make it. So I'll be 1 second. You can keep talking if you like.
I'll keep talking.
Yeah.
Go plug it in. Yeah. So I was saying.
Yeah.
What we can do now is we can see that by having a particular thought process, by understanding the language of the unconscious mind, and we understand the language of the subconscious mind is emotion. The language of the subconscious mind is imagination. So what I'm proposing is that by using our imagination and by sitting and feeling real deep emotions, we can actually communicate with our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind then has complete control over our entire body, and we can start changing ourselves. What point do you feel you had that moment where you decided you were going to start to heal yourself?
Well, the break. Anyone who has a breakdown, you know, they say breakdown. What do they say now? Breakdown to break through, right?
Yeah.
So when you break down, it's funny. I was listening to Russell Brand the other day. I can only do a few minutes at a time with him. He drives me up the bloody wall, but he's an intelligent man. And he said he's been times of his life when things got really narrow, you know. And I thought that's a very good description of mental breakdown. Everything, your world gets very tight and it's terrifying. But I think that's when God or the light or these things come in and give you different options then. So you break down to break through. So back to me staring at the wall, right?
Yeah.
I suddenly realized I've been looking at a wall for 3 hours, but this feels good. This is what you call meditation. But it was meditation by harassment. I didn't mean to meditate. It just happened.
Yeah.
And there's a wonderful Zen saying that says, if you haven't got enough time to meditate today, you've got to meditate longer.
Yes. In fact, one of
sit longer.
My Thai massage teacher used to say to me, make time every day for meditation. And if you're busy, make extra time every day for meditation.
Very, very wise. Very, very wise, you know. And all this wisdom has always been around us. And I find that very helpful and healing, because when you're going through all this, your personal stuff, you can over exaggerate. And then you think, well, nothing new under heaven, you know, it's all been done before. So, I mean, you've just got to...
What did you do, Frank? What did you do? You were in...
So I knew that I quit that job. Yeah, I quit my job. I left the job. I as I say, I had these 2 books that my auntie gave me. One was The Celestine Prophecy, which talked about, you know, all about energy. And that just spoke to my heart because since that experience at 17, it's an energy experience, you know. And the second book was called Anatomy of the Spirit, written by Caroline Myss. And that just blew my head off, absolutely blew my mind. I mean, she synthesizes 3 great the world traditional religion, Judaism, Christianity, and Hinduism. And she synthesized those things and made it one system. And she talked about the 7 chakras are connected intimately with the 7 sacraments of the Catholic faith, and the 7 branches, a tree of life of the Kabbalah in the Jewish faith. So there is evidence that these great spiritual traditions are exactly the same. And the beauty of it is that in the East, they reverence their body. So that, you know, the chakra system is in your body, right? 7, 6, 5, 4 is your heart, right? But this is the sacraments in the Christian tradition. Yeah,
really interesting as well, because we're starting to see in neuroscience different areas of the body where we have neurons. Obviously, we know we have a brain, but we're starting to really know which parts of the brain light up when different things are going on. You know, this kind of part of the brain and what this does, and this part of the brain and what that does, but we're also seeing brain and heart cohesion, and we're starting to recognize the heart as an energy center, but also we've recognized and we've learned that there's also a brain in the gut as well.
Yeah,
so
the enteric brain.
Interesting that we're starting to see these energy centers from a Western medical perspective as well.
It's mind-blowing. I mean, and it's very joyful, you know, that integrated medicine is called, right? And that's where we want to be, and that's where we want people to be working together. I mean, I think you know, like you say, Western medicine is acute medicine is brilliant at acute medicine. I've just finished a book called War Doctor, about this guy who volunteered most of his life in war zones, you know, as a surgeon. And it's a really fascinating read. But you know, that's Western medicine at its very best. Yeah. However,
people back together. Amazing.
Absolutely, putting people together. And what struck me about this book is that he talked about when he was in Syria, and it was all horrible. And he used to go out. He broke the rules of the curfew. He used to go out because he just needed to escape. And he went out one time and he found a little mission that a priest was running, and he was drawn to it. And he said he was raised as a Protestant Christian, but not a churchgoer, not, believed. He was a believer, but he believed in God. But he said it's at these times of high stress that your energy goes to another plane. That's how he described it. So he went looking for this, and he found this priest, and the priest looked at him and he burst into tears, because he said this priest had this serenity, and this priest was living in the war zone looking after the elderly. And
not a serene environment.
But that's the nature of true spirituality, isn't it? Of Jesus. And that's where that they operate in horrible situations, and that's where you find these really brave men. So anyway, this doctor went and he got blessed by the priest, and he said he burst into tears, and he just felt this really holy experience come over him, and it just touched my heart. I didn't expect to read that, and I'm a Christian as well, and it's the most important thing in my life, other than my family, of course, with my family and my faith. And when I read that, it's so assuring. It really helps me.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you feel that your faith has had a great deal to do with your healing journey?
100%, a complete 100%. When I had that mystical experience, I was 17. The last thing I want to do is go to church on a Sunday with a lot of old people, and so I kind of was thought, I don't need this. Go to university, have fun, have girlfriends, meet people, just get into drinking and a little bit into drugs, to be honest with you, because it's an escape. Then had that breakdown, after the first job. And when I got those books, they were talking about my faith. They were talking about Christianity. They were putting it into my experience. They were making it relevant to me. And my auntie is a nun anyway. She was she's always been in the church. So, and she's been into healing, but she's a bit of a maverick. She was because the church has traditionally been a male dominated, especially the Catholic Church. So she was a kind of a bit of a maverick in there, and she was into all the alternative stuff, and she got me all these books. And so, but I knew it was all connected and linked. And so I started to look, and this woman who wrote that Anatomy of the Spirit, her name's Caroline Myss, and it's just so interesting. She's the one that first said about, that we are groundbreaking a new species. So all these old systems of medicine, they can't hold up, because you're not working on an old Homo sapien, you're working on an energetic being. You need to understand that every thought is creating your reality, it's creating your physical tissue. How can you apply those old Newtonian physics? You can't. So that just spoke to me so powerfully. And
I love that you've said exactly what this whole presentation is about, that your thoughts create your reality. We are the creators of our reality, and
how healing is that?
Absolutely.
That is one of the most healing principles. The amount of power that we have, right? And what you need to do with that power is to heal yourself, and then heal people around you. And that's what we're all called to do, especially as you and me in this industry we work in. That's what we're called to do. And it's so powerful, So anyway, she, this lady, Caroline Myss, before she wrote this book, she did theology. She studied theology, and her major, they say in America, my major, was, or thesis or whatever, was called mysticism and schizophrenia.
Ooh.
Right? And she said, look, the schizophrenic and the mystic are one and the same in many ways, because they are vibrationally alert, right? And it makes so much sense. If you think about a mystic, St. Francis of Assisi, perhaps the greatest mystic of all, if you watch his story, there's a film, Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon. And it shows he goes off to war, and he wanted to be a great warrior and get a woman and be the man. And when he went into war, he was so traumatized. Then he came back, and everyone thought he'd lost his mind, because he just suddenly, when he woke up from his sort of, his injuries, he saw a bird flying into the window, and he was fixated on this little bird and followed it all around the village. And people said he's gone crackers, but he hadn't. He got onto another level of vibration. of God. And then he was led by God to an old church outside of Assisi. And it's a beautiful scene in the film where he's drawn into the church. It's all broken down, all the stones and everything. He's drawn in, he's just looking at it. And then he sees Christ on the cross like that, suffering. There's this look on his in suffering, and it speaks to him, and he's humbled. And then he throws all his clothes. You know the story of Francis Assisi. His dad was a rich merchant. So he goes home and he takes all the dad's clothes, throws them out the window, throws his own clothes, takes all his clothes off, and says, "You're not my son anymore. You're my father. My father's in heaven." And the father drags him in front of the bishop. In those days, the bishop was corrupt, eating chicken, stuffing his face and all the money. And Francis came in front of him naked and said, "What should we do? I don't know what to do." And the bishop blessed him. And then Francis went off into the community and started looking after the lepers. And, built this church up with his bare hands and formed the Franciscan order, which has spread all over the world as one of the most powerful orders ever. And I read the other day that in the library, I think it's in London, they say the most taken out books ever in the London University is on the life of St. Francis. And little things like that are very affirming. It speaks for itself. And he had a profound impact in his life. And people don't know the amount of things. He went to the Middle East and tried to get them to stop fighting, tried to get the Christians to make peace with the Muslims. And he did so much in his life. And how powerful and poignant now that our current Pope has taken that name, Francis. When he could choose a name, that's the name he took.
Amazing.
And that was a joyful day, that was. And he's a wonderful, I'm a Catholic, but I always say I'm a Christian first, because I'm not into dogma and you must do this and that and the other. But I think this Pope that we have is a real great man, and I've got a lot of time and respect for him,
I love that. Make me a channel of your peace. That's St. Francis prayer. I do that as a morning meditation quite often. Because I do believe you've got to clean out the vessel if you want to be a channel. You're going to keep keep squeaky clean, and for me that involves, I have God written on my board. G is God in my day, but the G is giving and being of service. The O is about oneness and about connecting with my community, connecting with my tribe, connecting with my family. And the D is my destiny or my divine calling. And
I like it.
I have that in my meditation practice in the morning. And I do like a bit of God in my day. And having a bit of God in your day is clearly what's been very much a part of your healing journey. How do you feel that prayer and meditation has really helped you to heal?
Well, like I say, it was kind of an enforced meditation to begin with, where everything's so crap that you just suddenly stop. And then I guess it becomes quite, you just get that grace of silence. You start to build an awareness of it, that when you stop, life goes on, but you don't have to go into the drama. The drama just goes on around you, right? And you don't have to engage with it. Oh, how powerful is that? What? I don't have to do anything here? I just stand here? Okay. And that's very spiritual. You realize that all the drama you've created can be undone, and you can just start again. It's hard because when you've built a life and all the rest of it, but you make decisions then from that knowledge. You think, well, I could start again here. So that's what I did. I started again. I thought, what do I really want to do? And I found, Westminster University, and I eventually signed up for that course. And when I got there, you see, and I did complementary therapies to begin with, but then I thought, it's all Chinese. Why don't you switch to TCM acupuncture, because you've got a trade. You can a lot of these other things, like they had, energy, rainbow, crazy stuff, like no one's going to get, but if I'm an acupuncturist, I can still be mental, right? And crazy, but nobody will know. I can fit into society on some level here, and so it's a win-win. But so that's what I did, and it was great, really, because I got into the whole Eastern stuff. And as I said to you earlier, one of my passions is the martial arts, And so I had a rebirth at that time, And I met all these like great martial artists as well who were on the course. And one guy was a Shaolin monk, and then I got into Tai Chi, the internal arts, and then of course you've got meditation every day. And it's like, for me, it was like Tai Chi was like football club. You used to go to it and all your mates there, and then you're standing and holding a posture. What the hell, And nobody knew this. You go back out it was like in the inner city. I'd be getting a tube and sitting there with all these guys. And I've just been standing in a room, like hugging a tree, It's cool, It's really good. So, yeah, so I got back into that. And then meditation became a part of my life.
Yeah.
And I was very conscious. And then that frightening experience of being when I was 17 was suddenly tied to this great tradition of mysticism, St. Francis of Assisi, and I was back into my Christian faith. I started going back to church, and I started to develop, what they say in Chinese, my yin, and it just became a way of life. So now, like, I can just go into meditation quite simply, go into what you're saying, the subconscious, quite quickly and simply.
Yeah. What conversations do you believe that you had with your subconscious whilst you were healing, and what conversations do you have with your subconscious on a daily basis that you feel
very good question? That's an excellent question. I mean, I think like I say, when I did the Chinese meditation became a big thing, and holding postures and stilling the mind, the monkey mind. And we had an energetic system to follow, like keep your attention on lower dantian,
which is the point.
Think about
underneath your belly button.
Exactly. And the theory, of course, is that's where your primal energy is, and that's what you want to build up. And you want to feel that chi flowing like a waterfall. So that was the first thing I would do. And I guess when I think about it in terms of society, we're kind of quite elite, because not everybody's doing this on a regular basis. And you have that kind of sense of, oh, I'm quite different, and which is a mixed blessing. But that I did that for a long time, the Chinese medicine, and I graduated and I started doing a little practice. And as I said to you before, I went on the cruise ships and I had some success there and things, but I never really took off and made enough money to support myself, let alone a woman and maybe have children. So there was that sadness there. I thought, well, I've invested a lot. I've got another degree. I'm doing the job, but society doesn't recognize this really. In NHS, they don't give you much help. And so, although I've got all these skills and I've healed myself a lot, come very far on the journey, I'm not where I want to be. So it engendered another kind of mini breakdown, I suppose. And the crux of it really was that I was struggling to get enough work, and it was very upsetting for me. And, and so I went to the GP, and historically they had depression, right, in my notes. But then it became bipolar. I mean, that's simplifying it. Yeah. But it's like, if depression isn't curing it, it's almost like we've got to get a bit more serious. What's the next more serious mental condition? And I'm not being overly cynical, because when I look at bipolar, I accept that I have the patterns of that. I accept I've had highs and lows, but I do not accept that I have an abstract, incurable brain disorder, and that can be fixed with a drug. That's just an absolute nonsense. And so I don't tell people I have bipolar. And there's no evidence, unless you live with me. You'll see that I have patterns that are quite discernible. But it's not what I lead from. I'm a mystic, yeah, and I'm part of a Christian. I was thinking about this today. I think this is the kind of the gem of this chat, if you like. And I'm getting tired now, so I know it's got to come from somewhere. It's got the best of me, right? This is, I think, what is the most deepest, important thing in my soul. If I'm genuinely following Jesus, yeah, who to me is the best human that's walked the planet. If we think about the last 7 days of his life, when he goes into Jerusalem and is hailed like Kanye West or a great celebrity, you are the man. You remember Palm Sunday? Yeah. You are the man, right? That's going to send you high, no? It's going to send you, I'm the man, I'm invincible. What they say in the scripture, that Jesus is divine, but he is also human. So he would have felt high, right? so the end of the week, as we know the story, the same people, not all of them, but more or less all of those same people, they're not only saying we're not going to write about you in Hello anymore and put you on this, we're going to kill you. Now, if that isn't bipolar, I don't know what is, right? So what I'm saying to you is that our culture, right or wrong, and I know that some feminists and people have different views on paternal Christian culture, but nevertheless, it is our culture and has been for thousands of years, is at its core bipolar. So, you know what I mean? Spirituality by nature is up and down. And if we look at like this new emerging species and the power of our mind, we want to connect to the network. We want to connect to space. We want to eventually move to different planets. We want to teleport. That takes a lot of power from brain power. Yeah. And so I don't see myself as going high. I see myself as engaging with the universe and accessing bundles of powerful energy, which you're back to with your neuroscientist, which is electricity. Yeah. But the key for me and for lots of people like me is not to let that electricity burn me. I have to try to lovingly guide it through my system and let it, you know, run through my system. And when it's finished doing the work that I need it to do, then to just turn myself down like a computer for a few days, you know, and recharge.
Yeah.
So that's an electrical understanding of myself.
I love that. And what I believe that we can do is we can enter into a state, we would call it a trance-like state, where we enter into those lower brain waves, where our brain and our heart are in cohesion in terms of how the rhythms and the cycles and the wavelengths is that entrainment process of everything coming back into flow. And when we're in that place of balance, and when we're in that place of harmony, when we're in that place of relaxation, the critical factor has been bypassed. The subconscious mind is open and ready to receive, and at that point we can then have these really beautiful conversations with our subconscious using the power of our imagination, and I believe that is in many ways operates in the form of prayer, in the form of affirmations, in the form of,
I was going to say that.
It's the power of prayer, isn't it?
No, you're right. But affirmations, because that's the final part of my healing journey. Yeah. I had, you know, like I say, I was diagnosed with bipolar and advised to go on medication. And then I was doing my acupuncture and I had an opportunity to go into become a mental health nurse. You know, because what it was, I was doing my acupuncture from my parents' house. They gave me a room, and then I started to do a care job to subsidize so I had enough money. And when I was doing my care work, the lady around the agency said, "Why don't you become a nurse? I mean, it's the no-brainer. You've got all the skills and from your acupuncture, and they're giving you bursary now to do it." So I thought, oh, you might as well. And it was just a case of, do you want to do general nursing or psychiatric? And I thought, well, here we go. You know, it's got to be psychiatric. It's got many levels. This is my journey, right? And I'm going to learn about myself. And I don't know, maybe I was on medication. So, but I was, as I said to you before, I wasn't quite sure about it. But if I'm working in this area, I'm really going to find out about it, aren't I? And that's what I did. And that gave me such a boost because I went to King's College University, one of the most prestigious universities in Europe. And, you know, and then I was working, I was a professional. I pulled out my Marks and Spencer shirt from the cupboard, you know, and oh my God, here we go. I'm a man at last. You know, I've got a proper job and I'm recognized as, and I got a hospital every day and work. And wow. You know, so that gave me a boost. And I was able to keep doing my acupuncture, but it was very sad to me that I'd spent all that time and money and I had a handful of clients, maybe 2 a month or something, you know, but I always kept my hand in. I always kept going with it. So I was doing that in the nursing. And then I got into the work of Louise Hay. Now I'd heard of her again through my auntie. You can heal your, what does she call you? Heal your body, or you can heal yourself or something like that. but I got back into it. And it was at the advent of YouTube, and I started to just listen to her meditations, and it really, really, and to this day, is so helpful and powerful to me. That woman was a saint. She passed away 2 years ago.
Yeah,
she was an absolute goddamn saint. She covers everything. You listen to her meditation, she says, listen, if you don't believe what I'm saying, leave it. She's so lovely. And she says, you got to love yourself, and you got to tell yourself 1,000 times a day, I approve of myself. I approve of myself. And she's just so lovely. And what she gave us was affirmations in a nutshell, right? That's her great gift to us. And I affirm every day. And I always watching my thoughts. That's the negative one. Let's come back with a positive here. You know? Yeah.
Diet of the mind. So what I'm sensing from you is throughout your journey, there was a time where there was an incredible amount of focus on the body, and in terms of meditation, in particular using Dantian, that little
Chinese medicine,
really getting into the Chinese medicine, understanding the energetics of the body, and sort of questioning that whole Western medicine perspective, and then really understanding the power of the mind.
Yeah, I mean, what it was, Amanda, when I was at Westminster University in 2002 to 2006, a lot of this was just taken as a given. You know, it was like Western medicine is an old paradigm. You know, it's just we're moving into a new one. And I remember the tagline was "The future's bright." You know, the future's orange. You know that thing. But it was a bit of a joke. The future's bright. We're all going to come out of here, and everyone's going to want to see us. We're energy workers. This is a great time. But you know, a little time after I finished, you know, there was a big lobby. We hit a recession in 2008, and then those sods in the Parliament, some of them started writing letters, closed down the School of Homeopathy in London, one of the great old institute, been there for years, closed it down, started taking money out of, you know, I read an article, they bashed to bits Chinese medicine, saying it was voodoo rubbish. These are doctors. And they're saying that about a system of Chinese, and they stopped the courses. They don't do them at Westminster anymore. They do some reduced course. But, oh my God. I mean, when I read that, I was devastated. I thought, all that money and time, and I'm just being discredited. But I thought, hang on a minute, no, there's a bigger picture for this.
There's a much bigger picture.
There's always a bigger picture, and, you know, you've got to hold on to that, don't you? But, yeah, so that was, for me, that was quite a big thing. You know, at Westminster, there was, you know, you just thought, this is everything. And it's I didn't know the turns in the road that were coming, but I'm still here. I'm still doing acupuncture, 20 years nearly now. So I'm very happy about that.
So healing for you and the conversations that you've had with your subconscious are around understanding the practice of meditation, understanding energy within the body, and using affirmations every single day, that beautiful, powerful conversation with the subconscious mind. And Frank, you're incredible. I obviously, I've never seen you unwell, or I've ever spoken to you when you've been unwell. You always just seem so dynamic and full of energy and so joyful, and clearly of a human being that's of service to others. And I think what the work you do is absolutely incredible. So thank you ever so much. Thank you for coming on Conversations with the Subconscious.
You're welcome, and thank you very much, Amanda. Thank you very much.
Your mind really does create your reality, and you can choose to accept this or not. You can be conscious of it and set your mind working for you, or you can ignore it and allow it to work in ways that perhaps will hinder and hold you back. But your mind will always and forever be creating your reality. And if you look at Frank's story, it does mirror what Helen was saying as well yesterday. There does seem to be a process to how we heal ourselves and how we move ourselves forward dynamically in our lives. The first part of what Frank was saying is that he really connected with his body. He used meditation and he used martial arts, and his focus on Dantian, which is that place just 3 finger widths below his belly button, and he used that to really connect with his physical body. He really embraced meditation and visualization and started really visualizing his future, a successful future. And he has this incredible understanding about energy and how energy works. And with that knowledge and with that understanding, he had this incredible healing experience. So in a moment, I'm going to get you just to settle down and find a comfortable place. If you've got a blanket, you want to get that and maybe pop it over you, because you're going to be just sitting still for a moment. And I'm going to take you through a guided hypnosis session. So I'm going to guide you into a very gentle trance. This is just going to feel a little bit like you're very, very calm, very, very peaceful, quite serene. I'm going to take you into that lovely meditative trance state where you're in that place where we can really communicate very powerfully with the subconscious. I'm going to guide you through some exercises to really help you to connect with your body, to really connect with who you are, the essence of who you are. I'm going to guide you through some exercises that are going to really help you to harvest and gather up those incredibly powerful positive emotions. And what we know about positive emotions is that they're dominant emotions, and the law of dominant effect says that whichever dominant emotion is most present is the one that we're going to connect with, it's the one that we're going to feel, and it's the one that's going to have the impact on those neurons. It's the ones that are going to actually drive us forward. So I'm going to help you to really connect with those positive memories, positive experiences that you've had in your life. And then we're going to work on some exercises that are going to really help you to connect with loving yourself and then sending that love out to others. And finally, we're going to finish with a little bit of quiet time. And in that quiet time, I'd really like you to spend that time really visualizing the future that you want. And I'm going to guide you through that experience so we can start doing that incredible work right here today, taking you into that future that you really, really deserve to have. So get the blanket and just sit back and enjoy. So I'm going to begin by just helping to really calm your body and calm your mind. And very simple exercise just to begin with. And I'm going to talk you through this. You can just watch and listen, or if you want to join in, please do join in. And I'm going to take you into a lovely, lovely, deeply relaxed state, and then deepen that state so you get into that lovely place of trance. And remember, when we're in trance, we can talk with our subconscious mind, that powerful part of our mind, that part of our mind that sets up those potential transformations and changes physically within our bodies. I'm going to take you into that lovely, lovely, deeply relaxed place. I'm going to help to connect you with your physical body. Breathe and harvest those positive feelings, those positive emotions. We're going to be doing some exercises that are going to really enhance those positive emotions. And then we've got all that positivity that we can attach to this wonderful visualization. Please join me as we begin. Just get yourself into a nice, comfortable position. We're just going to begin with your eyes open. Just find a nice comfortable position. Just drop your shoulders. And I always like to start just with the eyelids. You know, it's the smallest part of our body. But it's the part of our body, a bit like a mosquito in the bedroom at night time. It can be very, very small, but it's incredibly powerful and incredibly irritating in the night time if you do have a mosquito. So we're just going to start using that small aspect of our body to have a really powerful impact. And all I want you to do is open your eyes on your in-breath and close your eyes on the out-breath. So breathing in, opening your eyes. And as you breathe out, just close your eyes. And as you breathe in, open your eyes. And as you breathe out, just close your eyes. And then just find a nice, natural, comfortable pace as you breathe in, opening your eyes. And as you breathe out, just closing your eyes and allowing your eyelids to feel heavier and heavier as you go more and more and more calm, relaxed. And I want you now to just add another dimension to this. And what I'd like you to do is just to really focus your attention on the physical sensations in your body as you breathe out. As you breathe out and close your eyes, just notice those sensations in your body. If your mind's been very active today, that's okay. Just start to let go. On that cleansing exhale, just letting go of tension, letting go of worries, letting go of anything that's not serving you in this moment. What I'd like you to do now is just to start to elongate the exhale. Just make that out breath slightly longer than the in breath. Still breathing in as you open your eyes, and a long, slow, releasing exhale as you close your eyes. When you get to that point where you feel like you'd really like to just keep your eyes closed, close your eyes and just continue to really enjoy that feeling, that soothing, long, cleansing exhale. I want you to engage your imagination now. I just want you to begin to gaze into that space behind your eyelids, that universe of your mind. And as soon as you start to gaze into that space, just notice the vastness of that space behind your eyelids. That limitless, endless space. And as you're gazing into that space, just on the horizon of your mind, just notice perhaps a tiny little speck of light, a star, a glimmer, a sparkle on the horizon of your mind. And I'd like you just to rest your gaze and still your eyes. Rest your gaze just gaze at that little sparkle, that little star on the horizon of your mind. Continuing to really enjoy each breath in, bringing new energy into your body, and each breath out, just helping you to relax and to release tension from your body. And if you find that your mind wanders, that's okay. Just bring it back. Bring it back to that star on the horizon of your mind. Bring it back to the breath, that feeling of becoming more calm, more peaceful, more relaxed. I want to help to really connect you to your body now. We do that by having that powerful conversation with our body. I'm going to get you to loosen and relax different muscles around your body, from the top of your head all the way down, right down to the tips of your toes, just helping you to really connect with your physical body, to connect with who you are, the essence of you, to really relax and release tension in your body. And as we relax the body, our mind just follows into a really beautiful, blissful state of relaxation. And now your eyes are closed. Just find that sense of relaxation just in the eyelids. You know, that feeling that you have when you've had a really long day. Perhaps you've been staring at a screen all day, or you've been reading a lot, or it's just been a really busy day, and you get home and you flop down on the couch, you close your eyes and you just sense that calm, that stillness, that perhaps a heavy feeling or maybe a light feeling, but that feeling of comfort, that feeling where you simply don't want to open your eyes anymore. When you found that lovely warm and comforting feeling in your eyelids, just hold on to it. Now I'd like you to bring your focus, your awareness, your attention to the muscles in your forehead, the brow. And if you've been thinking or overthinking a lot, worrying perhaps, you may find that there's some unnecessary tension in the muscles in your forehead. And that's okay. Just begin by just allowing those muscles to soften. And then as they soften, you can really get a sense, a feeling, an understanding that those muscles are loosening, tightness, tension, discomfort is just really dissolving, disintegrating. It's just melting away. And relaxation, that feeling of deep calm, just begins to flow in all by itself. And once you've started this process, it'll just continue. Each breath in, bringing new energy, and each breath out, releasing, letting go of tightness, tension, discomfort, and anything that's no longer serving you. Bring your awareness now to the other muscles of the face, the muscles around the eyes and the cheeks. And bring your awareness to your jaw. Just let your jaw drop. Let it hang or sit in whatever position feels the most comfortable. Relax the muscles around the mouth, and even find a place for your tongue to rest inside your mouth. Bringing your awareness back to the breath, resting your gaze on the star, the horizon of your mind. That lovely feeling of relaxation that you're creating for yourself. You need to allow that to spread now to the muscles in your neck, muscles at the side of the neck, those muscles that sometimes feel tight and tense, the muscles at the back of the neck, either side of the spine. Just allowing those muscles to soften, sensing tightness and tension just melting away, loosening, and relaxation just flowing in all by itself. Allow the throat and the area at the front of the neck, the voice box, to soften too. And then bring your awareness to your shoulders. And if you notice that there is some tension or tightness in the shoulders, that's okay. When we're in that fight or flight mode, it's our body's job to protect us. And the muscles in our neck and shoulders become hard like armor to protect our neck, to protect our spinal cord. But you're in a good place right now. So you can just simply have that conversation with the muscles in your shoulders. Just let them drop. Let them drop again. Let them fall, softening, loosening, and relaxing. A lovely feeling of relaxation really beginning to flow through your physical body now. And you may have noticed that as you drop your shoulders, as you relax your shoulders, as you release tension from those muscles, you may notice that the muscles in your tummy have also just softened and feel more comfortable. Bring your awareness back to the area of your chest, just noticing the rise and fall of the chest with each breath. And if there are areas of tightness or tension, just use that cleansing exhale. And as you breathe out, let go. Relaxing, releasing tightness and tension from the chest. Bring your awareness now to your arms. Perhaps you have your arms resting on your lap or hanging by your side, whichever position feels the most comfortable. Just focus in on the muscles at the tops of the arms, letting them soften, loosen, down through the forearms, softening, and down into the hands and right all the way down to the tips of your fingers. Just letting everything soften and loosen. And with your mind, check each finger. Make sure that each finger is lovely and rested and relaxed, beginning to really restore and recharge your energy as you begin to deeply relax your body. And bringing that attention back to the breath, to the star on the horizon of your mind. Just resting your gaze, gazing into that vast universe, the universe of your mind. I want you to bring your awareness to your back now. Perhaps you're sitting or lying down. Whatever you're resting against, just allow the muscles of your back just to soften. Get that sense of any tightness or tension just dissolving, disintegrating, melting away, allowing each part of your back to loosen and relax. Top of the back, scanning down through the central area of the back, allowing those muscles just to soften, feeling more air entering into the lungs, bringing new energy, and using that cleansing exhale to release tightness, tension and discomfort as you scan further down into the lower part of the back. And those big muscles in the lower part of the back and hips that work so hard for us, carrying us around and helping us to walk and move and dance. Just let those muscles soften. Tension melting away, loosening, relaxing. And bring your attention down further now to the thighs, big muscles at the tops of the legs, and just let them soften and go lovely and loose and limp and relaxed. Down through the knees and into the lower parts of the leg, those calf muscles that can often feel tight, tense. Speak with those muscles. Let them soften, loosen, go lovely and limp and maybe heavy or perhaps light. I don't know. Only you know exactly how you feel when you're becoming more and more relaxed. Bring that awareness all the way down now, through the feet, and to the tips of your toes. And just like you did with your fingers, just scan each toe, making sure that every single toe is resting, relaxing. From the top of your head, all the way down to the tips of your toes, really beginning to very deeply relax. I'm going to go quiet just for a moment while you scan your body from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, and just find any areas that need a little bit extra help, a little bit of persuasion to soften, to loosen, and to relax. If your mind wanders, that's fine. Just bring it back to the breath. Bring it back to that star on the horizon of your mind, and relax, relax. Blissful relaxation. I want you to use your powerful imagination now. That curious part of your mind, that part of your mind that questions and chats and wonders what's going on. It's that part I'm talking to now. I'd like you to allow that part of your mind to just begin to drift and float towards that little speck of light, towards that star on the horizon of your mind. And as you're floating and gliding towards that star, your heart rate is slowing down. That feeling of rushing around is disappearing. Just floating and gliding through the universe of your mind towards that star on the horizon of your mind. Floating, drifting deeper and deeper into very, very blissful relaxation. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. And when I get to 3, you'll have floated right through the universe of your mind. You'll have floated right up to that star. You'll have floated all the way towards that star. As I get to 3, you're going to step into that star. Step into the starlight. Step into the light. As you step into that light, give yourself some time for your eyes to adjust to the brightness of the light. And when your eyes have adjusted, just take a look around where you are and just notice. Notice that you're right back at a time in your life, perhaps where you were really happy. Time in your life where you were really peaceful. Time in your life where you were really confident. Perhaps you'd just achieved something. Maybe you were on holiday somewhere, or you were just with those people that you just love to be with. And I don't know where your subconscious will take you. Just allow it to take you to a place of real positivity. So here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Step into the light. That's it. Give your eyes time to adjust. And just look around. I wonder where you are. Is it day? Is it night? I wonder who's with you. Are you in the mountains? Are you by the sea? Are you at home, snuggled up under a duvet, feeling warm and snuggly and really comfortable? Wherever you are, just turn up the contrast. Make that image really, really bright. Turn up the sound. Make the sounds so clear, crystal clear. Wonder if there are any smells. Smell of flowers. Smell of the fresh air. Smell of your favorite perfume. Smell that just really connects you to that wonderful moment in your life. Just connect with the emotions, the joy, the happiness, the peace. And just allow those images, sounds, smells, colours and sensations to become very powerful. Just immerse yourself in that wonderful, positive place. Perhaps find a place to sit down and rest. Relax. Just really, really enjoy being in this wonderful memory, this wonderful place. Now, I'd like you to imagine that your loved ones are materializing beside you. Perhaps your family next to you, at your side, your friends, and other loved ones beside you and behind you. Just gently standing and being with you, relaxed. And then extending in every direction. You need to imagine that all other human beings are with you. Every being, every person on the planet is standing around you. And the animals are there too. All those people that you've ever met in your entire life. And those people that you've yet to meet. And perhaps those that you will never meet. All materializing around you as far as your eyes can see. Really, really feel that every being is here with you, just quietly. Breathing, relaxed, calm, imagining a sense of harmony, a feeling of peace, just rippling through everyone. Feeling love. Love for all these beings. Every single one of them wants to be happy. successful, well, loved, just like you. Everyone around you wants to avoid suffering and pain, just like you. Even those that are angry and violent, I want you to generate a feeling of love in your heart. You can do this perhaps by bringing to mind somebody who you really deeply, passionately love. Remembering those loving feelings. Your natural feelings for that person, just let them arise. You might like to imagine your love as a warm, bright light. Maybe not physical, but pure and positive energy, just glowing from your heart. Before you can truly love others, you need to love yourself. This means accepting yourself as you are, right here and right now, with all your faults and your shortcomings. But really recognizing that you have the potential to free yourself from all difficulties and challenges. First, let that warm glow from your heart fill your body, fill your mind. Let that lovely feeling of love completely flow through your whole being. Visualizing that warm glow just filling you. Let that energy overflow. Let it spill out. Let it spill out and into the hearts of those around you. Your family, your friends, your pets. Send them your love, your happiness, your joy, your peace. Next, send that love, that loving energy to those you don't know so well. Work colleagues, neighbours. Imagine that warm and luminous, limitless energy radiating from your body and touching them too, sending them your energy and your love. And finally, turn your attention to the people of the world and the animals too. And especially to those that are having difficult times, especially those that feel angry. They also need love. Perhaps you can wish for them to be free of confusion, free of anger and self-centeredness, free from the things that drive them to act the way that they do. Really want them to find peace of mind and happiness, because they too are looking for happiness in life, however misguided. Continue to send your positive energy, that radiant energy of love, to all beings. And love really is an unlimited spring of good energy. Will never run out. Keep sharing it. Imagine your love just continuing to flow in every direction. Keep that tap running, reaching all of the beings of the world, those that are perhaps lonely or sick or hungry or confused, oppressed, frustrated, frightened. And just imagine all that suffering dissolving, disintegrating, disappearing. Minds becoming peaceful, clear, and just full of joy and peace and happiness. You have the potential to love everyone. There is so much space in your heart for pure, natural, universal love for yourself and for all beings. I want you to go now to a place in the future, taking all of those feelings of love and harmony and peace and gratitude. Use that powerful imagination now and see yourself perhaps in 2 or 3 weeks' time, 6 months' time, in a year's time. A place in the future where you have already achieved all of your goals. I want you to see it in your mind's eye, as if you've already done it. You've already achieved it. You have prosperity. You have health. You have happiness. You are successful. And then turn up the volume. Listen to the compliments that people pay you. Make the contrast nice and clear and get that image really, really bright. Smell the air around you. Really sense and feel how it is to be here in this moment. I'm going to go quiet for a moment while you just really immerse yourself in that vision of that future that you deserve, that you desire. Any thought that's put into your mind that's nourished regularly will produce results in your life. This image is a seed that's been planted today. It's a conversation that you've had using your imagination, the power of your imagination and your emotions. That conversation with your subconscious needs to be had on a daily basis. Nourish this image. Nourish yourself with your imagination and your emotions, and you'll soon be experiencing this reality again. In a moment, I'm going to count from 5 to 1. When I get to 1, you'll be wide awake and fully alert, feeling really, really good, feeling really positive, feeling really powerful, and feeling really ready to step into that future that you deserve, that you desire. 5, slowly waking. 4, becoming really aware of your physical body. 3, just giving your fingers and your toes a little wiggle and allowing energy to surge back to your body. 2, taking a lovely deep breath in. And 1, eyes open, wide awake. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'll just chat to you just for a few minutes more, just while you're coming round. I hope that you've enjoyed that and found it really interesting, and you've really, really understood that our thoughts are incredibly powerful and they can completely change our biology. What our mind conceives, our body really does achieve. And if you are finding that you have got some blocks, you're having some difficulty, and there are some perhaps limiting beliefs or things that are holding you back, do feel free to reach out and get in touch with Pearl or myself, and we'd be happy to either work with you and guide you further, or we can certainly recommend you to some of the other amazing people that have been a part of this fantastic Pearls of Wisdom online virtual retreat this weekend. Thank you so much for attending, and enjoy the rest of your day, and enjoy that wonderful, wonderful future that you deserve so much. Bye.
The Pearls of Wisdom virtual online retreat is proudly sponsored by Serenity Radio. Find out more at serenityradio.co.uk.
Preview.